Hi, I am Jairam Reddy, former Professor of Physics and Vice Chancellor, Sri Venkateswara University. I have been studying environmental issues and clean energy sources for the last 3 to 4 decades. Today, I will be presenting a topic in climate change. The title being, We Change Our Climate to Worse. Most agree that the world is facing today 4 most important challenges. The first one is the poverty alleviation. The second one is the danger of the nuclear conflict. The third one is the climate change that is daunting us. And the fourth one is all-pervading coronavirus. The immediate concern of the whole world is how to fight this pandemic and save the populations as well as the economy. I will deal with the climate change, a subject of my concern in the last 2 to 3 decades. It is a true global issue, and all the nations need to enhance as well as speed up efforts unitedly to stave off the impending global disaster. Weather and climate are fundamental for the existence of life on Earth. They are essential for the quantity and quality of our food, our health, our occupations, lifestyles, and habits. In total, they are the key determining factors of human culture. As such, the prospect of human-induced climate change is a matter of great concern. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, created under the United Nations, they have submitted their second assessment report in 1996, and they provided scientific evidence that human activities may already be influencing the climate. If we like to understand, detect, and predict the human influence on the climate, we need to know the system that regulates the climate of the Earth and of the processes that lead to the so-called climate change. Let me explain the terms weather, climate, and climate change. Weather represents the state of the atmosphere at a given time and a place in terms of the temperature, the precipitation, the humidity, and the wind speed and the direction. Weather has only limited predictability, maybe for a week or 2 or probably a short period. Climate, on the other hand, is the average weather conditions. It is the average weather conditions over an extended period of time, decades or even centuries. Climate depends on the latitude, the vegetation, the existence of mountains, the distance to the ocean, and other geographical factors. To make it known more clearly, I will give an example. You take the 2 cities, Srinagar in Kashmir and Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh. They have 2 different climates because we generally say Srinagar is cold, Tirupati is hot. But on any one day, their weather can possibly be same. Substantial variations of the average state of the climate continuing for decades or longer are referred to as climate change. Earth system is described in terms of its elements: atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, cryosphere, and the land surface. These are the 5 elements which characterize an Earth system, the Earth system. Weather and climate are the result of a very complex series of interactions among these five elements, but largely controlled by the interaction between the earth and the sun. The human activities such as the emission of greenhouse gases, which I will deal little later, or the land use change, these are sometimes called the external forcings. These two can cause climate change that may be partly predictable on a larger continental and global or spatial scales. Why partly predictable? The ability to actually predict is limited really, because there are factors such as the population change, the economic ups and downs, and the technological development, and such other factors of the future human activity. They cannot be detected, right? If that could be possible, the present pandemic and the economic loss it is causing could have been detected last year or previous. Therefore, we have to rely carefully constructed scenarios of human behavior and determine the climate projections on the basis of such scenarios. What are these scenarios? Because these scenarios are based on the human life and behavior. So you can put parameters, right? If human uses so much of energy, consumes so much of food, etc., etc., that will be one model. So go on changing those parameters, you will get different models or different scenarios. Then you can project by working mathematically. Earth's climate changed throughout its history. The changes occurring on at least time scales of hundreds of thousands of years. So changing of climate of Earth is not the present one. It has been there in the history of the Earth, but that changes were happening over a time periods of hundreds of thousands of years. So if we peep into the past, let us say 50 million ago, because Earth has born 4.5 billions ago. So the global temperatures were so high that there were no large ice sheets at all. The last 3 million years witnessed cycles of cold periods and warm periods. These are called, cold periods are called glacials, and the warm periods are called interglacials, within a gradually deepening ice age. In the last 650,000 years, there had been 7 cycles of glacial advances and retreat, with the abrupt end of the last ice age about 7,000 years ago. That period marked the beginning of the modern climate era. So strictly saying, it is 7,000 years ago, the so-called climate modern era, that is some measurement of these things, getting the feeling of the climate has started. Most of these climate changes were attributed to very small variations in the Earth's orbit, which alter the amount of solar energy that the planet receives. In the middle of the last glacial period, that is about 20,000 years ago, large continental scale ice sheets covered the northern part of America, the northern Europe, and the northern Asia, that is surrounding the northern polar region. Most of these climate changes were governed by the complex interactions involving the atmosphere, the oceans, the volcanic activity, the ice, the life on Earth, the external forces such as the solar energy output. Last 12,000 years was called a period by name Holocene. It saw a stable climate, 12,000 years, a stable climate as revealed by the paleo data. Because of this climate stability, This period has seen early agriculture and the rise of the first civilization called Neolithic era, with the developing of cities and the growth of population. Historical records also revealed the collapse of particular human civilizations which are sensitive to the regional climates, as proved by the one Viking colonization of northern Atlantic islands, and the two, the ancient Mayan culture in Central America. This sensitivity to environmental conditions, it has helped to develop knowledge about the regional climate. But to know the different climate zones and the difference between them, it took several thousand years later. Therefore, over the history of the earth, the climate changed significantly. So what we are seeing is not new. But what is new? I will tell you. The abundant geological evidence tells us that only 3.5 centuries ago, the world was in the depths of a prolonged cold spell called Little Ice Age. Currently, the earth is warming at a rate unmatched in the past 1300 years. The rate is highly different and more. The transitions between different climates are also occurring within only decades, not years, not thousands of years, only within decades. That means the warming is fast and it is happening within a period of decades. Scientists used Earth orbiting satellites and other techniques to collect several types of information about Earth's climate on the global scale. The vast data that is collected revealed that the warming is certain. To appreciate these decadal variations, it was essential to reconstruct them over a wide range of geographical scales. Understanding of the past climate is crucial for predicting the future climate. Scientists worked out Earth's climate dating back hundreds of thousands of years, in some cases millions of hundreds of years also, by paleoclimatology. Paleoclimatology is the study of Earth's climate during the entire history of the Earth. This paleoclimatic research used geological and biological evidences. These are sometimes called climate proxies. Preserved, how are these evidences got? They are preserved in the terrestrial and aquatic sediments and rocks and tree rings, coral reefs and ice cores of ice sheets and glaciers. You can drill a glacier, right, in the northern polar region, and then you get a cylinder of ice core that can help us in telling what the weather was at the time of the formation of that ice sheet. So these can be used to reconstruct the past climate in terrestrial and aquatic environments around the entire globe. The paleoclimate reconstructions, this is a huge area, it's a vast subject. They provide proof for the reference level of climate and environmental variability before human beings actually started using instruments to measure the different aspects of climate and weather. This prehistoric evidence also revealed that regular and sudden changes in the local and global Earth climate, regular and sudden changes in the local global Earth's climate, and they have been continuing throughout its long history. Nevertheless, the current warming since the middle of the 18th century, that is the period when the Industrial Revolution started, is remarkable. This warming is remarkable and occurring roughly 10 times faster than the average rate of warming during the Ice Age. The human activities in this short period of nearly 300 years were exceptional. Particularly the second half of the 20th century, let us say the 50 years and now 20 years, the 70 years, witnessed a marked increase in the mean temperatures of the planet, especially in the North Polar region. Prior to that period, the changes in climate could be accounted by natural causes. What are these natural causes? Solar variability, volcanic eruptions, orbital variations, and tectonic activity, earthquakes. But these natural causes were inadequate, they were not enough to account for the current rate of warming. It was premised that the human industrial activity could have been responsible for influencing the Earth's climate. Now, before confirming the growing surmise whether the human activity since mid-18th century or mainly in the second half of 20th century was responsible for creating such powerful stress on the Earth's climate, scientists examined in detail the effect of these natural forcings that caused during that period. And they found they contributed very insignificantly to the current rapid warming that the mathematical models can evaluate. The human activity obviously is the main contributor to the rapid warming in the last few decades. That's how the scientists have concluded. So the result is of this rapid global warming is the rise in the Earth's surface temperature. The global average temperature increased by more than 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 1800s. That is in the period that we are talking about. 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit is roughly equal to 1 degree centigrade, little less than 1 degree centigrade. And a few regions of the world warmed by more than twice this amount. The climate model simulations, because it is, if you want to get to know the climate at different places or in the future, you have to build up some mathematical models, assume certain variables in and put them in, and then you have to work out. And then later you will compare with the observations, experimental observations. So the simulations of these climate model results using only natural causes and using both natural causes and human induced factors. So they did two parallel simulations, one taking into account only the natural causes, the other taking into account natural causes plus what the humans have did to the atmosphere. And they found that they matched with the second one. Second one means the natural causes plus human induced greenhouse gases are responsible for the present rapid warming of the earth. Measurements of solar output and measurements after the volcanic eruptions were also studied during this period and found that they contributed very little, very little to the total warming. The Intergovernmental Panel, which I mentioned, they submitted their fourth assessment report in 2007, and that report confirmed that warming was real and the human-induced greenhouse gases were very likely responsible for the observed warming. Their fifth assessment report, released in 2013, reaffirmed this conclusion, and the report said that human activities were extremely likely the dominant cause of the ongoing rapid warming. The fourth report said very likely, the fifth report said extremely likely. The IPCC took into account certain uncertainties in making statements, and the uncertainties are expressed in terms of not likely, likely, very likely, extremely likely, and so on, which I will talk about little later. So for this historical conclusion that the IPCC has made, it was awarded, the organization was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize in 2007, along with Al Gore, the former Vice President of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, the progress of climate science has been due to rigorous scientific inquiry conducted over several decades by thousands and thousands of scientists drawn from different disciplines all over the world. This vast progress of climate science has improved our understanding of the Earth's climate significantly, though the basic findings remained unchanged. I mention one sentence before I conclude. Based on the fourth assessment report of 2007, I published a book called Pollution and Global Warming, giving some aspects of global warming. Then, after the fifth report was released in 2013, I made a detailed study of that report and published another book called The Daunting Climate Change. The material I have presented now and will be presenting later is drawn from those books. So that is it for the day. See you again with the next presentation on climate change aspect.